Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 31 of the Natural Female Muscle Podcast. Today, we are joined by PNBA pro Claire Burton. This is an episode that I'm very, very excited to dive into today. For anyone who doesn't know Claire has attained her pro card and won titles with the WNBF, the DFAC, the PNBA, almost everything that you can think of. She's pretty much done it, along with also having success in untested federations as well, which is very, very cool. I would list all of the achievements, but there are so many that I think I would have to make a podcast episode itself for that. And even Claire almost forgot one of them as well. And sending the list over, there's that many. But some honourable mentions would be, multiple Natural Olympia Pro Masters Physique champion, WNBF World Champion, PNBA World and European Champion. Some really, really, really incredible titles within there. So I'm not disregarding those. There's literally just so many that I cannot list them all. But having competed for the past 10 years, Claire's definitely taken some incredible outcomes from that journey already so far, and something that's only continued to get better and better. And it's been amazing for me to even be able to see over the past couple of years, really, how much that's actualized. But the most amazing thing of all, as myself and Claire were just talking about before I hit record, was the fact that she started this competitive journey 10 years ago at 42, which is something that is very different to a lot of other competitors, but it has by no means meant that she's been less successful, and anything in like an opposite way has had the most incredible success. So I think it's something that's going to be really inspiring for so many people to listen to, along with just generally being an inspirational athlete as a whole. So thank you so much for coming on today. I'm very excited to get into this journey.
Thank you for asking me.
Oh no, you're very welcome. I always think that the nicest place to start, really, when we do these episodes is to kind of go right to the start and to give people an insight, like even before you kind of got into your training years, like what you were kind of like growing up, what your view was like towards sports and training. Like, was that similar to what it is now? Was it different to what it is now? Okay,
very different to what it is now. I was thinking in the car driving back from work that at school I just avoided sport. I remember cross country, I would hide and wait for them to loop round and then join at the end. And I wish I hadn't. Now looking back, I wish I'd participated more. It just wasn't my thing then for whatever reason. And it wasn't until I went to school with a guy who taught kickboxing. So he had a kickboxing club, and he'd be like, "Claire, come to the club, blah blah blah." And I went, "Yeah." And then I went one day and loved it. And I kind of refer to that as being my sporting background, because it didn't really happen before that. And then competed in lightweight, light continuous. So got a nice big fat juicy kickboxing champions belt as well, somewhere
Cool.
in the loft. But that really kind of sparked it. And then I worked as a PA secretary in Basingstoke in Hampshire, which is where I grew up. So small town, everything is in very close proximity. Worked in the town centre. There was a sports centre there, and decided that I'm going to join the gym. So went off, was intimidated by the whole gym environment. I thought, right, I'll go and do some classes. So went and did some classes, having a great time, loved it. Got approached by the group exercise manager because I was, whooping and hollering and whistling, which, you probably heard me at shows. And she said, "Oh, have you ever thought of being a group X instructor?" No, but talk more to me about it. So they sent me to do my exercise to music. So that was 1999. So my son was 8. Went and did that, and then started teaching group X. I still didn't really go to the gym, strength train, taught classes. It was particularly spinning classes, combat based classes, because of the kickboxing that I was still doing. And that's kind of got into the fitness industry, which kind of leads on to how I then got into bodybuilding.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I always find it, well, obviously I didn't know about the kickboxing, but it's always really interesting how when I speak to a lot of athletes, how earlier on in life they maybe actually avoided exercise and through one way or another, they kind of wound their way into like actually enjoying it. And did you find that when you started the kickboxing, was it maybe because there was kind of that competitive edge to it or just something that made it like fun? Like what was it for you that kind of drew you in, and rather than kind of like hiding away from it like you would do with like cross country, you actually kind of were like, you know what, I actually quite enjoy this?
Yeah. I think just it was a real nice group of people. We all got on really well. I enjoyed training. Turned out not to be too bad at it. So I guess that, is always an incentive, isn't it? Not that you should shy away if you're not. You should dig in and carry on. But yeah, just really enjoyed it. So that's what kept me going. And then it, yeah, blossomed into other things.
No, that's really nice. I like that the community aspect kind of played a bit of a role there, because I think that's something that I recognize in you a lot, even with bodybuilding, is that you're such a huge part of the community of it and the people that you've met and everything like that as well, which I think a lot of people forget about, but can be a huge reason why you kind of really fall in love with the sport so much. But yeah, we'll come on to that a little bit
100%,
later.
yeah.
Because I know we'll go off on a tangent on. But do you want to then kind of roll through what actually then started to get you a little bit more into bodybuilding? I'm assuming just more time kind of being in the fitness industry from there, but do you want to dive into that one?
Yeah, cool. So yeah, being part of the fitness industry and went on to kind of teach nationwide as a presenter, because I connected with a group of guys that had a concept that was martial arts based, but
Okay.
group X. You've got Taibo, Kaibo, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I was sort of involved in that. And met Suki. You know
Yeah, I know
Suki, right?
Suki. Yeah.
Yeah, met Suki, went to watch her compete, just
Oh,
did.
wow. Yeah.
And it was like, wow,
Yeah.
these women are phenomenal, and I want to do that.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I'd left Basingstoke. I think I'd moved up to Essex for a pharmacy sales role.
Okay.
And then I'd also done some sales at a gym in Palmer's Green, which is North London, and met
Okay.
Nathan Williams. So he was a PT there. I was there doing some sales for their membership team.
Mm.
And I knew that he competed, and he competed with BNBF as a natural federation. And so after I'd been to watch Suki and decided, oh, I want to do this, who do I speak to? Nathan.
Okay.
So no, Nathan, what do you think? Want to compete? And and yeah, and that's 10 years as Nathan as my coach. So that's where it all kind of started. That was 2013. Started training. I had a holiday plan, 3 weeks in Cuba.
Mm.
So he started prepping me or coaching me. Took a break for that, and then 2014 was like, okay, well, ultimately I want to compete with BNBF.
Mm.
With Natural Federation, but let's just dip our toe in the water, and did Miami Pro, and so competed in figure, and also I think it was their sports category, and
Yeah.
a picture actually flashed up in my memories this week of I don't know even what you call it, like Formula One, like had a flag
Oh,
and
yeah.
cringe now. But so we did figure, and we did this sports model thing, which I always failed miserably at, but the figure won my category. So that was my first experience of stepping on stage, nervous as hell. But also, who else? That was Suki that got me into it, and also met Annie Ulysses, who helped me with my posing. Met Lucy Walton, who was weeks out from competing, and that was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, she looked phenomenal. So yeah, and obviously our paths have crossed later on in life, and she's a good friend now. So that's where it all started.
No, that's amazing. I mean, it's awesome that you met Nathan kind of at that point and that you guys have also sustained such an incredible relationship as well over the past 10 years, and starting with a coach who like really knows what they're doing as well definitely makes such a huge difference. And you came into some very good success in that first season as well. But how did you, I mean, it might be almost like so contrasting to look back at that first prep, but how did you find that first prep at the time? Was it something that, by the sounds of it, you were mainly just excited for more than anything? Did you have any expectations of yourself? Did you know what to expect, or was it really just like quite an interesting experience?
Just an interesting experience, very naive, but did what I was told to do. At that point, I was in the pharmacy sales role, so I worked territory. So that was interesting. That's where I found my love for Tupperware. Um, yeah, just did everything as Nathan instructed, and I'm good at following rules. I'm a creature of habit. I like routine, and actually found kind of food prep quite therapeutic, and I still do. Just kind of switch off, do what you got to do. And you start to see the results, or you start to see your body change, and it's just like, wow. And I think I can say I enjoy the process more. I enjoy all that. At that point, it was like, this is phenomenal. What you can do to the human body, or what the human body is capable of, was just like, this is next level. I love this so much, more so than stepping on stage, because nervous as hell. And I still, to this day, shake like Elvis.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
Judges know, they're sat right at the front.
Well, at least from the crowd, you don't know. So
yeah, it was nerves, excitement, adrenaline, but yeah.
But thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. So 2014, did the Southerns with BNBF. Went on to win my class in the Masters figure. Went on to their finals, won my class there, and then won the overall and won my pro card.
Wow.
Yeah, and again, sort of naive. I don't take it for granted, but it's like, okay, well, this is great, but what does that mean? What happens now? Because it's still, so young in the sport. What happens next? So I didn't compete in 2015. New job, and started working at a health club. So a very, very luxury top end health club, which is Third Space in Canary Wharf. So I've been there, be 9 years come February next year. Yeah. So I started a new job, didn't compete, but obviously trained with Nathan. So I would go and train with him. So he'd coach me in person. And then came back in 2016.
Did you find that, like, did much change really with your training when you started obviously being coached by Nathan, and like bodybuilding then became a little bit more of your goal? Because like you say beforehand, it wasn't, maybe everything changes to be maybe a little bit more like quote unquote like serious, or at least focused on bodybuilding when you're now competing. Did that change a lot from you from then like 2012, 2013 to then 2014?
Yeah, definitely. Just understanding more and having a PT qualification myself. Although the intention wasn't to use it as such, although I worked in the gym, I actually worked within the PT department in sales and admin. So office is on the gym floor, but I was suited and booted. But having that understanding and then applying what I had learned, obviously what Nathan was teaching me, and trying to, I like to understand things. I always ask a lot of questions. If I do something, I want to know why.
Yeah.
So getting that understanding made a difference in terms of my training and how we would then move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you find as well that then your goals kind of like almost started to shift a bit coming out of that prep? Because the first prep, you literally have like no expectations. And like you say, you almost have that naivety in a sense, because you don't really know too much about like the bodybuilding federations in general. You win this pro card, and then it's like, okay, like what do you do next?
Yeah.
And how do you then try and set goals, especially when you've achieved something that's already so amazing? Like, how did you like come away from that? Did it change maybe the way you view bodybuilding as a whole, or what was your focus really just still at that point on, this is something that's amazing that kind of allows me to see what my body can achieve? Or did you start to want to set more goals for yourself?
Yeah, definitely set more goals, because in that 2014, what I'd say, won the DFAC pro card, went to Miami, went to the Worlds. It was phenomenal. 15, there were 15 in the class, you know, and I didn't place, but just being there was like, wow.
Yeah.
But that then kind of sparked more of a goal going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, I've got this far. What are the opportunities for me in terms of being a pro? Because again, it was like, well, yeah, what happens? Where do I compete? What happens next? Because you don't have to qualify. BNBF didn't have, or still don't have, a women's pro Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So it was Miami was the was the goal, was always the focus. But yeah, wanted to do well on that world stage, having been there and kind of really just paled into significance. So I look at the photos and it's like, oh, it's little me in the background there, and looking at the likes of, at the time, it was Alex Ellis. She kind of reigned in terms of figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and having those aspirations to be competitive, not just be there.
Yeah. And did you took a higher placing at the DFAC Worlds, if I'm correct, in a later year?
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was 2017. So 2016, what happened in 2016? I've got no concept of time. Was that?
Even I'm going to have to get the list out to refer back to it.
Yay.
So many shows. Okay. 2016 DFAC Worlds outside the top 5, and then 2017 DFAC Worlds athletic figure first place.
Yeah, so that's where I'd switched. So I think earlier in that year, was it PCA in 2016?
You did PCA in 2017 as well, where you competed in athletic figure. So obviously made a bit of a jump up across those years from just like doing masters figure to then athletic, which is where you like sit now, because I know it's for a lot of people find it quite confusing because they have different names, but it's like fit body, physique, and athletic. They're all kind of like the same thing. What was it that made you make that decision to kind of like move up to the next category? Because obviously anyone who looks at your physique knows that you suit that so well, especially in your muscularity poses, your conditioning, all of those things. But was that like a natural transition, or was that something that you kind of intentionally worked towards?
It was looking at, so the feed girls, you know, Alex Ellis, Tiffany Sipos, and you know, condition wise, you know, we got there, we could get there quite easily. I just was never going to have that figure frame.
Yeah.
So that's why athletic figure, I thought, right, okay, well, that might suit me better, because you're still finding your way a little bit only when you start out. As a, you know, you look at the criteria for the classes, you've got an idea where you fit, rather than I want to be here. And then, as it should be, you work your way towards, you know, really ticking all the boxes for the criteria for that class. And for me, it was athletic figure, and that's where I then won the Worlds in 2017 DFAC in that athletic figure class.
Did you find that prep any more challenging for having to push for more condition, or did that come a bit more naturally for you?
I think it came a bit more naturally. I think it just, you know, working with Nathan, we kind of started off right, if you know, we kind of found our way and what worked. And so, you know, if it isn't broken, you don't need to fix it, right? So it's like, okay, well, we just replicate what we've done, a few tweaks here and there. Obviously, you know, I'm training, building muscle, and just gradually, progressing. So I think, prep. I kind of switch off and get on with it. I don't want to dismiss it. Oh, it's easy, but it's like, well, I choose to do this, and I want to be competitive, and I want to do well. I don't want to just float through it, have a go, and see what happens. So whether that's, you know, that's just the competitiveness in me, where that came from, I don't know, but it's there. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's any harder. Just have more of it. You just learn more as well along the way. You know, how to tweak things if you need to, if you're traveling, if you're going away, and just, you know, being prepared, and just all of those things that you pick up along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really cool how you on your journey, especially with Nathan as well, you just gradually found where you fit, like you touched
Yeah,
upon, because I think so many female competitors, especially ones who haven't even competed before, they fret about where they're going to compete. And I know that even I've had these thoughts at points. And I think realistically, like you don't know until you just kind of experience it. And eventually you'll fall where you're naturally going to fall. It's like even like Michelle first competed in figure and she's
yeah,
an incredible bodybuilder now, but it's like you just kind of find your way as you go through, and like over time you just fall into where you're going to be. And especially when you work with a coach who knows you so well, you find what works best for your body and obviously for your outcomes as well. So I think it's nice for people to be able to see that they don't need to like know exactly where they need to be straight away. It's all about like having the journey and figuring
yeah,
out where you fit physically, but also like where you like mentally and like psychologically feel really confident as well.
yeah. No, totally agree. But,
Do you feel as though you feel the most confident in the class that you compete in now as well? I know there's not maybe a huge difference between figure and physique, but I mean, I suppose definitely within like the WNBF and with the PNBA, there is more of a difference because the posing is very different as well.
yeah,
But do you feel like that's where your like true kind of like confidence and strong points of your physique really kind of lie?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. I feel I am in totally the right class, and I'm most confident there. But you know, it's like you say, the different federations have different mandatory poses. So with the DFAC, although athletic, we still had, you know, the compulsory poses. So it's just different with the PNBA for the figure girls and
Yeah.
the physique girls. So, but do and the routine, of course. Let's not
Yeah.
forget the
Yeah, of
routine
course.
that we get. Yeah. So yeah, I love that bit.
No,
So
that's
that's
always so much fun. And I
yeah,
think just there, you actually touched on it with the fact that you have competed in a lot of different federations, which I think is always really nice to trial different federations and also just experience a lot as a competitor. But with that in itself, you have done a lot of traveling, as you touched upon. How have you found traveling as an athlete for shows? Because I know that it is something that a lot of competitors kind of like worry about.
yeah.
Have you ever found any issues with it, or have you always like, or has it been something that's maybe gotten better over the years?
Uh, well, let's say last year, where were we? I got it wrong. I totally got it wrong last year. But yeah, prior to that, just I think organization, do some research, kind
Mm.
of know where, you know, where you're staying, what's around, what you can take in your hand luggage, what you can take in your checked in luggage,
Mm.
take as much as possible. I mean, look, people take rice cookers and all sorts, don't they? I wouldn't say it's totally necessary, but if you know, if that works for them, fine, but have
Mm.
that foresight to just plan ahead, um, and try not to fret too much,
Yeah.
because there are always going to be, you know, some spanners in the works somewhere, but you do what you can. um, but yeah, last year last year when we went to, was it Romania?
I didn't
No,
get at
no,
Hungary.
Budapest,
Yeah.
Hungary. Yeah. So doing my research, let's see what's around the hotel. There's a Tesco's. Great. They'll have all the stuff that we have in our Tesco's because it's Tesco's.
Yeah.
So so Michelle and I always travel together. And we got there, went off to Tesco's, got an Uber, fine, it's not that far away.
Mm.
Thinking I could just pick up some grilled chicken. Like,
Yeah.
here. No. So we ended up with these chicken slices, but they were smoked. Like
Oh, God.
smoked chicken, yeah. So
Yeah.
once you've eaten about a kilo of smoked chicken and travelled, it's it really wasn't good. It did affect how I looked. And but coming back was the real spanner in the work, in that, I got off the plane and really suffered in terms of water retention,
Oh
and
yeah.
had, like, oh God, have you even prepped? You just got
Mm.
no condition whatsoever. And of course, we were weeks out from Natural Olympia.
Yeah.
So probably the most panicked I've been in any
Mm.
prep.
How did you manage to turn that around? Did you just settle back into usual routine, or did you guys have to do anything to manipulate that?
Settled back in just everything possible, like Epsom salt baths. I think I had a lymphatic drain massage,
Yeah.
more water than normal, just anything possible. And luckily got there, but it was a pretty stressful 2 weeks, which is the last thing you need as well, right? Is stress on top of.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Is like, I think a lot of people worry about so much with shows, whether it be travel or the day or anything like that. And it's just the stress that causes the
Yeah,
problems more than anything else. Like, you'll be fine on a flight as long as you don't stress. You'll be fine in a different country as long as you don't stress. It's kind of all of those things. But you clearly did a good job turning that around at the Natural Olympia. I didn't even know that. So you would never have known. But
it was
out of interest, actually touching on that, what do you guys usually do for your actual peak week protocols as well? Do you tend to manipulate much? Has it changed much over the years? What does that process kind of look for you guys going into show day?
Yeah, hasn't changed.
Okay.
So starting on the Sunday, so we're repeating on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, deplete.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Wednesday, gradually start to carb load. Obviously, over the course of the 7 days, it's typically what I've been doing anyway. So although your carb load feels like, whoa, that's a lot of potato, etc., etc. Yeah, a little bit with water, nothing with sodium. And touch wood, it's always worked and continues to do so. So
Yeah. Well, it's like you say, it's like if it's not broke, don't try and fix
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
like that's one of the huge benefits, like I mentioned earlier, of you being able to work with somebody for so long. Do you feel like obviously having the relationship that you have had with Nathan for literally like 10 years, like that's something that a lot of athletes can't say that they've had like a decade long relationship with their coach. Has that played massively into your favor for you feel like your success as a bodybuilder, and also just like your enjoyment of the process as well, because you know that somebody can guide you through that so well and they know exactly what you want to get out of bodybuilding too?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it makes a huge difference in the overall experience. See the outcome. Yeah, so spend time with your coach.
Would you recommend that a lot to like younger athletes, especially, or anyone getting into the sport really, is to spend like dedicated time with their coach? And do you feel like communication has been, I'm assuming, a huge part of that as well, and like getting to know Nathan and Nathan getting to know you so well too?
Yeah, definitely, because you get to that point in prep where a little bit need a sanity check on a lot of things, and just have that soundboard and that person that speaks sense, is definitely pays dividends. It's good.
Have you ever felt that you've needed that at points where like confidence has dipped at all? Because I know you said you get a little bit nervous on show day, but as I said, you always come across as somebody who is very confident. But have you ever had moments where you have like struggled with confidence at all? Whether that be like around a show or outside of a show with your whole bodybuilding journey, and how do you tend to find like your ability to kind of overcome that?
It's not just your coach, it's the people that you have around you. And
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate that over the years, some of my closest friends now, Michelle, Lucy, Kirsten, Joe, to have them to talk to and just to share those thoughts and be comfortable in sharing those thoughts, and not think you may have to deal with it all yourself. Not everybody understands. I'm also fortunate that the environment that I work in, I'm surrounded by great team of personal trainers, got elite personal trainers, best of the best, and everybody's kind of invested. They see how you change over that period of your prep,
Yeah.
even, you know, your members, your clients, you know, and if anybody wants to talk to me about it, I'm happy to talk. I don't kind of project stuff on people, but you know, those people that you can go to and say, look, not sure about this, or I feel like this, and you know, they're gonna ground you and really give you a confidence boost, and a, you know, a bit of a talking to make sense, because, you know, like I said, at points you are like, you know, a bit of a space cadet, and and your own worst enemy. I
Yeah.
think it's probably the same for most. You're your own worst critic.
Mm.
You don't appreciate, you know, kind of, all right, well, you're at the stage where you need to be, otherwise your coach would be telling you something different. So why panic and think I'm not ready?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because it's so easy to get into like your own head or to live in like your own little bubble, especially in prep, because you're so kind of focused on this goal.
Yeah,
And it is so different, I suppose, to like other, even like performance sports, because in bodybuilding you're just thinking about you, and it's like how you look and like literally your body every day, and it can be so easy to then become overly critical about that. But that's why, like you say, actually voicing that and like not kind of being afraid to voice it, whether it's friends, your coach, whoever's around you, makes a huge difference. And it doesn't mean that, I suppose, like anything's kind of wrong with you for feeling like that, because like even yourself as an incredible professional athlete, like you've have days where maybe you feel like that, and it's important to kind of just get those thoughts off your chest, I suppose.
yeah, that's it. And you give it to each day as it comes, but just generally, because there are always curveballs, there are always things that are going to happen. You know,
Mm,
life isn't linear. It's, you know, peaks and troughs, ups and downs.
mm.
So, you know, go with the flow a little bit, have that support network, have those people that you know you can check in on, who check in on you. You're not going bonkers. And just enjoy it, because it's, you know, we've heard it so often. You think
Yeah.
that's 6 months, 24 weeks prep, whatever it is, for minutes on stage
Yeah.
is, you know, is the reality. So yeah, enjoy it, embrace
Yeah.
it, learn from it,
Yeah.
um, and then just, yeah, and I'm just gonna, before I forget, just in case,
No,
just,
no, no.
you're saying about the, you know, the community, and I was saying about the
Yes.
kickboxing, and with bodybuilding, for me, it was, I wanted to find a federation that I felt part of. I didn't want to
Mm.
just be, I'm an athlete and I compete with blah, and that's it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to, you know, have connections with people, be involved as much as I can, help as much as
Mm.
I can, you know, get to know everybody. And I really feel that I found that with UKDBFA and PNBA, and I just really wanted to, that's what I wanted to say. If there was anything,
No,
just so
I
I
know.
don't forget, because I'm
No,
susceptible to forgetting.
Lee and Amy will appreciate that as well.
Yeah, they're
But
just, they do so much for their athletes, they really do. And
yeah.
yeah, just, it's just a wonderful family to be part of. So
Yeah, I say it over and over again when I do these episodes and they prop up, but I was mind blowing, like absolutely mind blowing when I met those two and I saw what they did for the federation, the athletes. And it's why I'm obviously just I talk about them a lot.
yeah.
It's not because I'm just trying to go on, I'm trying to sell anything, because they're not trying to sell anything. All they're trying to do is actually just provide for the athletes. That's their sole purpose.
Yeah,
And it's amazing. And it's amazing that like people like yourself are able to like even stand as an example for someone who's had such a positive experience with that. And you've been one of the people who's been on all of those amazing trips and experiences and opportunities that you've had as an athlete. And I've seen that community that's there, even just as like a little bit of someone watching in the background. And yeah, it's something that's so amazing. And that's one thing that I think people can't underestimate. What you can take away from bodybuilding is when you find the right people
yeah,
and you aren't afraid to involve yourself. And like when people want to help you, like kind of be helped and be involved and help back and, you know, be a part of it, because you can build something that's kind of so much more than just
yeah,
stepping on stage, I feel.
yeah, definitely, 100%.
No,
Yeah.
it's been awesome to see. I think you just also touched upon there the importance of like enjoying the time on stage. And I always have a bit of a giggle about this because I don't know if you've ever heard Maria, but Maria always loves to shout and enjoy it, enjoy it. It's a big thing. And she's always telling me about it. But it is important. It is important because you see a lot of people who maybe overthink the process or put so much pressure on themselves. And it's so upsetting. I mean, I always feel like so frustrated almost as a coach. I mean, I know how it feels, but I see how much hard work someone's put into something. And then they're so like worried or like worked up that they don't even enjoy the moment that they've worked so hard for.
Yeah.
What would your best advice be to help somebody enjoy their show day and their work as best as possible as someone who's like had the experience of maybe still being a bit nervous, but like being able to like truly be present and kind of enjoy that moment?
Yeah. Just, I mean, you can only control so much. So, control what you can. Everything else, just go with the flow. But just soak it up. And I say it's easier said than done because you are so nervous when you're there. But talk to people. Everybody's, I've never had an experience backstage where it's like, oh, this is a bit frosty and a bit catty. You think all those women, all those hormones, but everybody helping everybody. I've had instances where I've forgotten something and it's a mascara or something. Everybody's just willing to help.
Yeah.
So just immerse yourself, enjoy everything backstage, and when you're on stage, those minutes, just immerse yourself in it. You've probably got people there that have traveled, that have come to see you. Enjoy, you can hear them shouting, screaming, enjoy it,
No, it is the most important message, I
Yeah.
suppose, for most people on show days. So hopefully that will just be another reminder for them that they need to take, whether that be more shows at the end of this year or moving forwards into next year as well. I'd actually like to come back a little bit to like the support aspects, because we've kind of touched upon people who are supportive that are very much like in the industry and your community as well. How does your support also look like from like a family perspective? And is that something that looks kind of like different to people who are like actually bodybuilding themselves? Do you like having like a mixture of knowing people who are bodybuilders and people who aren't? Like, what does that kind of network look like for you?
Yeah, I guess it is quite expansive. You've kind of got the bodybuilders, and then other friends that don't, but they're equally supportive. They're interested. My partner, Michael, bless him, 8 years, I would say 8 years of suffering. My perception is that I'm a dream during prep and I keep it together the whole time. He might tell you something different, but and he trains, so he does have an understanding, which is great. So that helps. My parents, my dad's 89 and my stepmom's 81, so they're a bit like, are you still doing that thing? And when I rock up with Tupperware, and they don't quite get it, but equally, they're supportive. I see, I work in a health club, so it's a little bit different, but I've been in prep over, in the past, where I've been in pharmacy sales, so completely different. But then it was very much, I managed my own territory, so I didn't have a team as such. I'd be calling on pharmacies, but what I do is completely irrelevant, other than I'm drinking a lot of water. Can I use your toilet? So, yeah.
No, that's nice though, because like you said, it's like your partner trains, maybe doesn't bodybuild, but kind of understands. And like you kind of at the end of the day are just focused on what you love to do, but it doesn't have to be entirely consuming of affecting the people around you, which I think is the biggest thing. And a lot of people sometimes, I suppose, worry about that if they have, say, partners or friends who aren't bodybuilding and they think, I can't do X, Y, and Z and this and that. And I think it's good to be able to know that you can still like be surrounded by people who aren't bodybuilders, and it doesn't need to be like the be all and end all. And if anything, sometimes it's quite refreshing to like have people around who aren't doing the exact same thing sometimes too.
Yeah. And you can, you still want to be sociable. I, you know, for example, I am, whether that's just because, you know, years down the line, I've kind of understand what I can and can't do, so to speak. But, you know, I'm a grown adult, I can do what I like, but I choose to, you know, do what I'm doing for a reason, as a goal, as a result. But, you know, go to Nando's, you just have a butterfly chicken breast and spicy rice, or you just have a, you know, be prepared to be flexible, to still spend time with people, to go out. You know, there isn't anywhere really that you can't see the menu beforehand online. You know, just do a little bit of get a heads up before you go, know what you can choose, ask, you know, for things to be changed. You can. So
yeah, there's so much more that you can do, and I think people are sometimes afraid of like asking or like doing these things because it's not exactly controlled or exactly what they want to do, but like it's not that serious sometimes. And I think it's good to do that, and it's good that you also stand as an example for that as well. I think one thing that I'd like to like touch on as we kind of come towards the end of the episode, as I kind of mentioned at the start, was the fact that you did start your journey, as we said, like at 42 years young, which is like, at the end of the day, it's not significant because your success has been no different from starting at that age, but it is something that I know a lot of people feel as though they can't start, honestly, anything. It doesn't even need to be bodybuilding. It can be other hobbies or things that they like that they think they can't do past a given age, which is like kind of ridiculous. But like, what would your like message be towards people who may be in those situations, or like I mentioned to you at the start, like people who might be starting their bodybuilding journeys, like as they do get older than the average age of a bodybuilder, like what would your kind of message be to those people?
Just start. I don't want that to sound flippant, but you know, be confident, surround yourself with people that are going to support you, and you know, do your research as well. Just look into, you know, there are huge benefits to strength training for women, menopausal, perimenopausal, postmenopausal. So it's not just for the purposes of stepping on stage. I mean, you know, for me, I don't want to say you know, I train to compete. It started that way, but now, you know, I compete because I train and because I love it. But I will continue training because the benefits, you know, far outweigh me not doing it for whatever reason, whether I'm stepping on stage or whether I'm not. But you know, for people thinking, oh, no, I'm not sure, just yes, you know, do your research, speak to people that you know are in that position or have done it or whatever, reach out, just and start. Talk to people. I don't think people can regret, you know, you'll regret not doing it rather than doing it. You know, and it may change as you go on, you know, your reasons for doing it, your goals change, but just starting will be such a benefit.
Yeah. And I think that just because you haven't started at a given point doesn't mean that you can't still be successful or have an amazing time with it, because that's what I see from so many people. And it's so frustrating because I think all you need to do is just enjoy yourself and believe in yourself, because you can do anything. You just need to have the confidence to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look at our masters, you know, the masters guys, the 40s, the 50s, the Dave Driscoll.
Dave Driscoll, love him. He's such a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, they are testament to, you know, longevity in the sport, but also, you know, the benefits of just training. And
yeah, and you see that especially as a natural athlete as well, because you know, as on the assisted side of things, it obviously can get different, especially for females, that they can't keep going for long periods of time, whereas we have actually got the benefit of being able to do that. And like you say, there's so many actual like health benefits to do so, and it plays so well into overall life. And so many people think that bodybuilding is bad for you, and it's not, like, especially when you manage it well and you've got a good relationship with it. And you're a huge testament to that for sure, which is amazing. It's very cool. But thank you for obviously kind of going through a huge part of your journey today and giving like some insight on that, which has been really amazing to listen to. One thing that I would really like to know, I know many others will as well, would be what your actual goals are kind of moving forwards, because you did the past few years, I think 21, 22, 2020 as well.
Last 5, last 5.
Last 5 in a row. And then you've taken a year out this year. So what are your goals kind of from now, like moving forwards?
I tore my meniscus. I had a lateral meniscus tear, although that was 2021.
I remember that.
The September, but got on stage, great. Had a good season come November. Last year I had it repaired in the March, but managed to compete. I've got a Baker's cyst now on the other knee, so I've got a few little things, and let's just say that's not because of bodybuilding. It's just biomechanics and what have you. So I've probably been a lot worse if I didn't train. So sort those out, but want to come back and I want to again, Masters Physique champion at the National Olympia. I want to regain my title, because obviously I won't be there this year, but also still to be fiercely competitive in the Open.
Which you already are, but but I would guess still to be, time out, regardless of the fact, a few little niggles to sort out or tend to, but just to have an off season, to make some improvements, and then come back, like say, regain the Masters Physique title, but be fiercely, viciously competitive in the Open. That would be awesome. Are you thinking about maybe next year, or are you just kind of seeing where things go?
I'm gonna see where it goes. Again, I don't, although 52, I'll be 53 next year, I don't feel that there's a rush. The stage isn't going anywhere.
So, and you're not going anywhere. So.
And I'm not going anywhere. So I don't need to rush back. Let's say, I've done 5 years. I haven't had, a real productive or long improvement season. So I really want to, make the most of that, and then come back in, who knows, probably 2025. Who knows?
Well, it's exciting. I obviously look forward to seeing it.
I'm excited to watching, everybody being involved and just being there. Gutted that didn't go to Romania.
No, I know, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it when you get back on stage as well. Anyway, but huge thank you for coming on today. It's been so lovely to speak to you, and even just for myself to hear a little bit more of your background story and everything. I appreciate you making the time to come to the episode today, and so many people will as well. Would you be okay to let people know where they can find you on Instagram? Just like Instagram handle.
Like I say, please. What is my Instagram handle?
It would be good to know.
One moment, please, caller. It's Claire Burton, CLAIRE, and then Burton, BURTON _figure pro.
Awesome. Everyone, please go give her a follow, and keep a close eye on seeing what she's doing in the future, and even just looking through all the progress that she's already made, because it's phenomenal. But thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. As always, if you've enjoyed the episode, please like, share, subscribe, all of that amazing stuff, and I'll be back with another episode next week.